That is the greatness of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Let me turn on a light. Let me get some light, more light. What's up, everybody? Friday night, we did a show where we said LSU had to go into this game. And actually, we did this Saturday in the pregame before the Oklahoma game as well. We said they got to go in this game like they give a damn. They've got to play as if everything is on the line, even though it's not. We're going to see who's playing for pride, who gives a damn. We're going to see who's going to be Tigers for the future. Everything was on the table. And there's going to be a lot of crazy things going on in the next few weeks. But as for Saturday night, it was one more opportunity for this LSU team to really kind of show some of their true colors a bit more. And you saw that. This was a performance that I thought we were going to see all season. Maybe not every game, of course, but you thought you would see a more complete team here, game to game, a more complementary team. And in this game against Oklahoma, and yes, it's Oklahoma, it's Vanderbilt the week before. These aren't, huge scalps, but wins nonetheless that are very good for the confidence of this team. But this game did not start off well at all. There was some bad stuff going on for LSU. The strip, scoop and score, some wasted drives, some plays that just were not working out for LSU. And Caden Durham then started getting the ball, started running the football. 11 carries for 80 yards, chipping away at that Oklahoma defense. And then Kyron Lacey scores that beautiful walk-in touchdown. Just a beautiful setup play here by Joe Sloan, really. This is actually a play of an outrageous dime from Garrett Nussmeier, throwing that into Kamarion Pimpton, who had a few catches on the day and was surprisingly explosive for LSU. Let's see here. And you just here's that play. I mean, just beautiful. What a throw by Nuss. Good Lord. And that's really the story of this game. It all goes back to this dude, Nussmeier. Look at that. Hands to the face right there. That dude just hit Nussmeier right in the face. Nothing's called. And on the next play, Nuss is stripped. So it's just it just seemed like, once again, a game of unfortunate events and just a bad start. But then it went from bad to even worse, where Nussmeier gets drilled into the ground, driven into the ground. That shoulder just God, it looks so bad. I mean, he still might have a separated shoulder. He still might have a broken collarbone. Even though the x-rays were negative, it's like the damage is probably still significant, and it maybe the x-rays will be positive after the throws he was pulling off and some of the dives he was making, the scrambles he was making where he's diving for the first down. We got that terrible spot, but Kelly calls a timeout. They respot it, give us the first down. You usually see Kelly get shit on for timeouts. How about you give him credit for that timeout? Bought us a first down. This was a game about Garrett Nussmeier being an absolute just an absolute dog. I mean, balls of steel, this kid. The pain tolerance he had to gut through one play after another after this. We'll skip past some of these great defensive plays and then here's Caden Durham going to the second level again and just so good. But when Nussmeier is down and out, this is the play of the game. And I think I'm not alone in saying this. Aaron Anderson's 100-yard kickoff return not only is a big score in the game, you score on special teams. It's usually, a huge advantage in the game, of course. But it bought Garrett Nussmeier like 3 drives worth of time to just basically heal and not get thrown back into the action too soon. You know what I mean? Like, he actually had that time to kind of have the conversations with Kelly where he's like, I can fucking throw it. I'm playing, all that type of stuff. Them going over maybe a change in the protection stuff to help us. They had more time to adjust, more time to plan. All of this because of this play. And LSU's defense was pretty fresh at the time. Look at that block by Josh Williams. He makes sure to release. For a split second there, I'm like, oh, no, he's going to call for a holding. But he let go right at the just perfect time. Aaron Anderson has been what a player this year for us. What a player for and another 15 tackle performance by Whitworth. 2 TFLs, one right there, and a brutal sack as well on Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold had that 38-yarder. He had some good plays against us on the ground, 75 yards rushing. But all in all, LSU stuffed the shit out of Oklahoma. Yes, they had 167 yards on the ground, but it was of little consequence. Just 10 points they could score on the board. Yes, remember, they scored 17, but 7 of those, obviously, from the scoop and score. So much better at reading that. There's a bunch of different guys there to make that play. Ashton Stamps is there to make that play. Even if he gets through there, that's just beautiful. Even the safeties were there on that. There's Aaron Anderson one again. And Aaron Anderson did it again. Look at this spin move right here. And, oh, my God. If that guy who's in front of him is the only guy there, he doesn't have guys to the side of him, he's gone on this one. Because he's just got so much momentum after that spin move. But, shit. This return might have been even cooler. And, this change wouldn't have happened if Xavier Thomas didn't get hit in the head, which we hope he's completely okay and doesn't have any problems from this. But he had great returns all year, Xavier Thomas. Close to breaking a few like this. You put Aaron Anderson back there, and he shows you what he can do. Boom. 153 yards in return game yardage. And then Nuss does this. The first of 2 touchdown passes to Chris Hilton Jr., his first 2 touchdowns of the year. Unreal. I was like, he has no right to be throwing bombs right now, Garrett Nussmeier. What is going on? This is unbelievable. Look at this acrobatic turn here. Oh, that's just sexy by Chris Hilton Jr. That's just sexy. That's just beautiful. I mean, you wanted big plays all year from LSU, and you didn't. You thought you would see a lot of shots like this to C.J. Daniels, or we saw a few of this ilk to Kyron Lacey, one or two to Kyle Parker. We haven't really seen these shots, these deep shots for Pimpton, Trey'Dez Green, some other guys, C.J. Daniels especially, who I just brought up before. But you get Chris Hilton Jr. back, and it seems like Nuss really has that downfield chemistry with Chris Hilton Jr. And wow, because they could have had a few other touchdowns, a few other big plays already this year when Chris got back. There's just been some miscues. But, I mean, good Lord. Nuss, his shoulder gets driven into the ground, and he's just like, I mean, this one's ridiculous. And Chris sells it out. No bobble, no, hey, the ground force. And he secures that thing. And an absolute missile here from Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, watch how he uncorks this. The second he dropped back, and right here, I felt so good about the outcome of this. I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Like, I just was like, yes. Oh my God. He's feeling it. I just knew it was going to be Stardust. I didn't know it was Chris Hilton Jr. at the end of it again. Second touchdown and sell. I see that number 3 and him laying out for it. It's just what a night for Chris and his family. Been hearing a lot of talk, been hearing a lot of bullshit, a lot of whispers all season, a lot of questions, a lot of doubts, and he comes in and does that. Good boy. And LSU's defense on the night, just savage. Look at how this dude just goes flying in. I think this is Devon Keys at the end of this play here, but just flying in here recklessly for this hit. Like, everyone was flying around, wanting to hit somebody tonight. 10 TFLs. This play was beautiful. I mean, Braden Swinson destroys this. Ashton Stamps destroys this. And then Sage Ryan gets the INT, his first career INT. This was just beautiful all the way around for everyone. You love it for a guy like Sage, who gets so much more criticism than he deserves, but doesn't quite get the credit he should, or the love he should, flowers that he should on plays like this. He's created more turnovers than any LSU Tiger this year. 4. He's done that. He's created more turnovers than any LSU Tiger for 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Harold Perkins has only created more turnovers out of the last 3 years than Sage Ryan on this team. So, second to Harold Perkins, number 1 on the team in 2 the last 3 years. I think it's pretty damn good while playing most of the time out of position. Sage Ryan, 3 forced fumbles and a pick this year. Just got a sack to his name as well. Made some big plays. He's even injured some players. Jaquindon Jackson, the number 1 running back of Arkansas, knocked him out of the game. Blew up Lenora Sellers and helped Braden Swinson get him out of the game as well. And then here, beautiful. I love the design of that blitz. Keys and Weeks coming in there. I mean, Swinson coming up the middle. I mean, what are you going to do here? How the hell can you? I mean, that's such a creative front right there. Post snap, everything just like, oh, it's beautiful football. That's beautiful. This is just sexy. What was JVR Suggs getting a ton of penetration there? Savion Jones is ready to clean up anything. He's right there. Everybody is right where they should be. Devon Keys gets the sack. 10 tackles and a sack for Devon Keys this year. What a freak he has been. And then here we go. Swinson just barely doesn't get it, but Whit Weeks gets the strip. I mean, technically that should be Weeks' second sack of the game. Maybe he's cheated out of a sack or a TFL here. Incredible. Doesn't get the fumble recovery, just barely. It looks like he did just in time. But the speed he shows here to hunt Jackson Arnold down, you think Swinson's got it. There's holding on Swinson, of course, as always. And he just deletes him. And, oh, yeah, it does go out of bounds just barely. You can see that. 15 tackles, 9 solo, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 1 quarterback hit, 1 forced fumble for Whit Weeks. Good Lord. Good Lord. This kid is something else. This was a game that you want to see, baby. This was a game that you want to see where LSU just took it to Oklahoma like they should. Like a team, like this is a team that LSU has owned. A program LSU has owned. We have been in their minds for however long after a national championship, after that college football semifinal beatdown. They still talk their smack, like they're covered in championships. If LSU had lost this game, I think it would have disappointed me more than almost any other. Like, the Alabama game, of course, A&M game. Like, outside of like ultimate rivals, this is one that would have gotten to me because those Sooners fans are terrible, just as bad as Notre Dame fans. It's a disease. They have a mental illness towards LSU. And this is just another step in the way of like enhancing that, extending that. And so I was just overjoyed by this victory. Paul Tarver says, complete 60-minute game, sacks, gang tackling, tackle in open space, Nuss miracle return, and Chris Hilton Jr. explodes for 2 touchdown bombs. I know Chris Hilton just had 2 catches, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just perfect, I guess. Incredible downfield exploits. And just imagine what this offense could have been, warts and all, if we had just had a downfield threat to open up some space against the defenses. It's incredible what these little things that we don't really consider as fans really actually do to change the game. Mike Prima says, what's up, Lon? What's up, Mike? How you doing, brother? Best game LSU played all season. Seamus, the damn last game of the year. You want that to be the case when it's like the last game, like championship. But, this is nothing to play for in a way, but there's a lot to play for in another way, where it's the intangibles of what a fan wants to see. We want to see a team go out there and give a shit as much as we do. No, not about that. Care far more than we do. This is about your livelihood. This is about this is something you live and breathe on a whole nother level than fans do, media members do, anyone else does. The players, the coaches, it's a whole nother level. If it doesn't matter to you, it's not going to matter to anybody else. You've got to go out there and absolutely slay Oklahoma in that type of fashion. Not just beat Oklahoma, but flying around, guys destroying people, erasing people with speed, with fury. They played with calculation though too. They didn't play with like chickens with their heads cut off. I wasn't trying to be too greedy and say, oh, I want them to be perfect. I want them to be play with speed and no hesitation, but also be calculated and be, don't overrun it and keep contained. And also, like at the same time, sometimes beggars can't be choosers. Sometimes it's going to be one or the other with a more limited group. This team showed that they aren't just limited, that there were some severe issues they were dealing with throughout this season that maybe marred this team from being where they could have been, where they should have been. I mean, this is such a weak year in the SEC. Garrett Nussmeier is by far the best quarterback in the SEC, by far. And LSU had a real chance to contend for something far more than what we're left with now, which is probably a bowl game in Florida or a bowl game in Houston. That's not where LSU should be. And I understand that's maybe the realities of this team, but I refuse to accept those realities. This is LSU football. LSU should be contending for a national championship, or at least in that somewhat ballpark every single year with the resources, with the establishment we have. And I understand what the old days were like. I understand it wasn't always – there's a pride in LSU kind of losing for a long time and you still riding with the team, and I get that. And I think every LSU fan here very much rides with the team no matter what age. It seems like they can pretty much take losing still, right? So a lot of these fans. It's about Brian Kelly talking about, hey, we got the receipts, see you at the national championship. Saying, when he first came in, I came here to win national championships. Will Campbell, 10 wins gets you fired. I'm not putting these standards on this team. This team has put the standards on themselves. Yes, they failed to live up to those standards during that 3-game losing streak, where the month of November, besides the last day of the month, where LSU completely turned it around with this Purple People Eater festival against Oklahoma, it was a hellish month. But this team, if we can keep the nucleus of this team intact, build around the bright spots in the transfer portal, rack it up with depth. Don't be afraid to bid high and get a player. Don't be afraid to maybe strike out. It's okay, but at least go all in and be willing to throw down in the transfer portal market. That's really, if Brian Kelly wants to achieve his goals, if Brian Kelly wants to win a national championship at LSU, he's going to have to pay players to do it. And he's already paying players, but I'm meaning like you're going to have to go out there and like, here's the bag, bro. We need you for just a season, and we need you to come in here mercenary. We might not get along in the locker room. At the end of the day, you're not going to invite me to your wedding, maybe. Hopefully, that'd be great. We'll try and have a great relationship, but like, we're here to fucking win. And it seems like we've said this before about LSU under Brian Kelly, that like now they're like in renegade mode. They can smell blood in the water and they flip that switch. I think now Brian Kelly has to. There is no other option. There's time, sure. He's going to have until 2026 most likely. But why not go out with your entire full contract, winning multiple championships, doing this thing right? And the way they're handling it right now has been on the money, where they've already been preparing and making preparations and inroads like they are already embarking upon the 2025 season. So LSU have some big decisions to make. This game shows where those decisions need to be made, but this game also makes some of those decisions a little bit more difficult, I think. This team's a lot more talented than people think. but we cannot get stuck in the moment of a big kind of glorious victory over Oklahoma. We hate Oklahoma, and we just thirsting for some type of sign of life, big plays, all that stuff. We're going to lose some guys in the draft. We're going to lose some guys to loss of eligibility, or sorry, last eligibility. And LSU is going to be in a very strange situation under Brian Kelly if they can't figure this out. You're going to need probably 20 players out of the portal. 20 players, and I think that's kind of like an average conservative number even. I don't think it's going to be some massive exodus, but like you're already wanting to replace some pieces of this team. You might be processing guys, and that's frankly what we're hearing about a few different guys. They need spots. They need scholarships. They need replacements. They need answers from the portal. They're doing these player interviews where they're going through the exit interviews, and guys who are leaving, guys who are staying maybe for another season, kind of going over these options, kind of being real and throwing out the gauntlet. And there's no more games going on, and this coaching staff they've got the right people. This is the right coaching staff. Maybe you're gonna not agree with me there, but I really think you see this team grow into next year, this staff grow into the next year, Garrett Nussmeier grow into the next year, as long as we can retain key pieces on the O-line, hopefully like Mason Taylor. We know we're going to retain CJ Daniels. Harold Perkins is coming back, it seems. As LSU Odyssey first reported, it really seems like I'm wondering kind of why he hasn't announced it yet, really, is where I'm kind of like, I guess it's very early to announce. So, but still, you've got some pieces on this team that I think if you let go, maybe that's a piece that too many that you're gonna have to be going to look for. There's certain pieces on this team, guys who are entering their senior year, guys entering their junior year, that I've heard some fans be okay with seeing depart the program. And I think LSU needs to hold on to everybody they possibly can, unless I think who we're kind of referring to, the level of play here, obviously. But I don't know. There's some things that we're about to report about this process that I think are going to shock some of you. I think are going to make a few people raise some big eyebrows and be like, what is Kelly doing? But I think the vision Brian Kelly has here, he's putting everything into this thing. And he might be a little begrudging on paying for players and spending a lot of money, but he's going to do it. And he's got the backing for that to the ultimate. It's just a question of willpower and resources at this point. LSU have the resources, the time management, all that stuff, but there's a few people on the support staff who could also be shifting roles, shifting to different programs as well, and that could affect things in how we're going to pursue targets in the transfer portal. But really, this is all about Austin Thomas, Brian Kelly, and of course Frank Wilson. All three of them meeting of the minds and killing this, absolutely killing this in the next month and a half, 2 months. Just going out there and getting the top targets right, on the heels of spring, going out there, identifying top targets, and get one by one by one by one by one. There's going to be a lot of guys coming in the portal. There's a name we can give. Jacoby Matthews is someone that I think you have to have watchful of, because LSU are going to be going for him. LSU are going to want him. There has not been any contact yet from LSU. I can say that there has not been any contact yet. There can't be. But when the time is appropriate, there will be. So LSU looking for probably about 20, maybe even more answers in the transfer portal. And those names will be coming soon. We saw Ricky Collins Jr. Leaving the program. As we thought it was going to be Colin Hurley when Bryce Underwood was still going to be coming to the program. Bryce Underwood leaves. Bryce Underwood decommits, goes to Michigan. Everything kind of gets thrown up into the ether. Okay. Without Bryce Underwood, that immediately made Colin Hurley ascend to that number 2 spot, really. I thought in my mind, I thought of it that way. And obviously, with how things have ended up, that's also what happened. And also, when you read our discussion with Colin Hurley, there on LSUODYSSEY.com, he says he's staying. He's locked in. He's not going anywhere. So you had your answer that one of these guys is going to have to go. Well, Colin Hurley's staying. So it kind of made things a little easier to kind of deduce from there. But Ricky Collins, wish him the best, because fantastic Louisiana quarterback. And if he's given an opportunity to develop, he could be a damn good quarterback. And we could be going, wow, why did we let him go? But I think letting him go, it's because Colin Hurley, after Nussmeier, such a damn good prospect. And him and Joe Sloan, very close. Nussmeier's very close with Colin Hurley and has really taken him under his wing. And I think he's attracted to that. Colin is so young, sitting 2 years isn't the worst idea. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't, hurt him eligibility-wise. So here's the thing. You're going to see some movement with this team. Caleb Jackson is another name I would keep an eye on as a guy who could transfer. Kamara Pimpton, although, he had some big plays in the other game. That's probably a bid to say, hey, stay. We're probably losing Mason Taylor. They retain Mason Taylor. You're probably going to see Pimpton leave. If Taylor goes to the NFL, I could see Pimpton stay. So, Deshaun Womack, tons of question marks, still no snaps. Javian Toviano barely gets to play, 5-star caliber player. Questions about him, concerns about whether he's going to stay with the team. There's a lot of different candidates for this. And we're going to unleash the actual bona fide, true, who is actually going to be leaving. Not just may they, could they? Half of the names I just brought up to you are actually not going anywhere. So, but there's still intrigue about some of these guys because of their positions, of their situations. You could say the same thing maybe about Chris Hilton Jr., even though really it looks very straightforward to me for Chris Hilton Jr. I haven't heard anything about him transferring somewhere after his big game, just coming back and doing this again and kicking ass at LSU, hopefully. Staying healthy, because then he can. But yes, I wanted to address the Caden Durham report we posted earlier. That report, if you read it, while it does mention that, yes, we have 3 different sources telling us that Oregon are in this process of going after Caden Durham, making overtures, offering $1.5 million per season for this young man. And people go, he's just a running back. That devalues the hell out of what Caden Durham is and what he's done for LSU. The guy is a dual threat offensive freak weapon. Like, come on. And he's been hurt too. He's been like playing at 50%, and he's best freshman in the country. Like, come on, man. But Oregon with Phil Knight money going hard for Caden Durham, we've been told. And that's not just by one person. That's just not by two. That's by 3 different sources that we trust. And some of them kind of surprised us. We heard that and kind of just like, yeah, right. And we don't just jump and report things that anytime we hear it. And this is proof of that, because we heard that from a few different people over, kind of like a 2-week period. And so then we're kind of like, okay. And then really that third one made us really jump into this and be like, you know what? They're tampering here. They are literally tampering with our guy. Let's expose them right here. Boom. And shut this shit down. And, yeah, I think some people want to interpret that a different way. Some people want to twist that into a different way. I don't understand that. I don't get why. It makes no sense to me. It seems some people look for any opportunity to be like, we got him, and it's like we stand behind our reporting 100%. And this is something maybe I shouldn't have reported it this way. Maybe people can't handle it when seeing the actual real raw truth behind the scenes of college football that we report on. Maybe it's too much for some people. I thought it, even though, of course, Caden Durham denied this and said, 100% it's a rumor. What Caden Durham doesn't even understand is that what someone was alleging was a rumor wasn't even what was completely out of context of what our actual report was. They were alleging basically that Caden Durham was leaving to Oregon. And that's what our report said, is that he is just gone. Just because someone is offering a kid money doesn't equal that they're gone. You get that? Does that make sense to you? I mean, like, the jump was incredible. And actually, people want, hey, you made a big deal out of this. Oh, my God. And Caden Durham, and it's like, who actually made a big deal about this was Blake Ruffino, who I don't know what he was doing for this. I guess he needed some hits today or something. And then Preston Guy jumps on it, and per LSU source, man on the street hour, I guess. I mean, I didn't know he'd become a credentialed reporter. My point is, I have no problem with Blake Ruffino. He obviously has a problem with me, because this was obviously some type of weird, like, hey, we have to go after this guy. Hey, look, Caden Durham said he's wrong, but it's like, you actually twisted what we said in the report. And of course, even if you didn't twist what we said in the report, what else is the dude going to say when you're tagging him, going after him with it? Is this true? Like, I can't think of anything more stupid. And there's just some things that I wish fans understood behind the scenes. Why certain things are done. But we try and include you on that as much as we possibly can, and we're telling you exactly how this has happened. We wanted to say, hey, we see someone tampering with one of our players. Fuck you. Get away from our kid. Boom. See ya. I don't want to, go to these levels of exposing my sources to prove myself. And so we're not, even though I literally was permitted, post that so they know it's true, blah, blah, blah. If I had included that person's name, it would have been a fucking firestorm. And they were wanting me to. And I knew better than to let them and even after I posted it, it was like, okay, you get the picture, you're full of shit, and then I deleted it. Like, okay, you know exactly you're a bad faith actor, and that's why you're doing this. And so, well, like I wish that some people, like someone else said, like, hey, have you ever thought if what you're reporting could hurt LSU? And I'm like, actually, what I reported helped LSU because it exposed a team that was tampering with one of our best players. But also, like, do you want me to like frame narratives? I thought you hated reporters that were lying to you and framed narratives and were full of shit. But now you want me to do that? Like, very strange, very strange. We're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. If people want to jump off the train, jump back on the train, jump off, say goodbye forever. Like, that's fine. We're going to continue reporting LSU football as we do, and we'll get better at this. We make mistakes, but I guarantee those who actually give our content a chance instead of just deciding what some dude who doesn't even who really everything about them is about manipulation, including how they look on the screen. Like, if you're trying to let someone like that try and tell you what we're about, all you have to do is go and look at our stuff and see if there's lies, see if there's bullshit. And you can see over time things that are proven correct, things that are credited in national print, national papers, national outlets, time and time and time and time again. We don't really have anything to prove. And so we're just going to keep working and doing this because there's a lot of stuff that's about to come down the pipeline. And unlike some people who like to copy and paste or really crop out other people's work to get a bunch of hits, we're gonna get back to breaking news and posting the best writing and the best shows that we can do, and that's really all we're going to do. We're going to try and give our subscribers the best product they can get anywhere for LSU football, and really, when it comes to exclusive news, on3.com, they do an amazing job. They have so many different writers. We're just a one-man job. 247, they do a great job. So many writers, so many different people. We just have one person here, and I think we do a pretty good job of holding our own and providing the fans something different, something something creative to the table. And then you've got this writing that can get creative and weird and really off the wall, and we try and kind of get artistic with it. And then you've got cutting edge reporting that we just try and like really beat the pavement like an old fashioned reporter would do. And we try and mix the two worlds. And yeah, so we hope that you kind of understand more where we've come from with this whole thing. And yes, well, no one's going to agree everything with how we do everything, but I don't agree with everything you do or say. Am I just going to block you for that? No. I don't believe in cancel culture. Everybody, thank you very much. Have a good rest of your Sunday night. Peace out, everybody.